Hello everyone, welcome to our final take and make. We are transitioning into more in-person programming. So starting in September, be watching out for very similar programming that will be happening in person at both libraries. So you can look forward to that and meeting up with people who've been doing these crafts all along. And part of our mission here at the library is to build a community, and we really hope that this starts to get people together and start building those community relationships with each other and with the library. And today we have summer gnomes. So I just recommend a good pair of scissors for this one, and you should have everything else you need for this one in your kit. And we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is cut the templates out. So we have the gnome body, which is going to be the cardstock base, and the gnome hat, which will be the felt. Got that one. Do the hat really quick. And there are all kinds of other things you can use for gnome bases if you're trying to think about making more. I've seen some using just simple water bottles, and then they fill it up with some kind of filler or sand or something to keep it more steady. And again, this is one of those things that doesn't have to be perfect. You can trim later if you find something that's too long or not working. There's the base for the gnome. Now onto the hat. And I bought, I think it was no, I can't remember. So for felt, I usually prefer a wool felt. I think this one is just I don't know if it's a polyester cotton blend. It must be polyester. So I usually prefer something that's just a little bit thicker, and when you buy the wool, it's a little bit more pliable too. That's what I use for making those floral headbands for babies. So sorry about the felt. Yeah, this just has a more plasticky feel, and you can see it's pretty opaque. When you get the wool felt, well, at a certain thickness anyway, it's a little bit easier to work with. So that's something to keep in mind if you're buying felts again. Next, we are going to make this into a cone shape. And the prototype that I made before, I had an awful time getting this glued right. I think I did a lot of trimming afterwards. Like, I just struggled to get the base even and even like gluing it, I had a hard time. So I ended up taping it. So if you guys have tape at home and that's something you want to do instead of trying to mess around with the glue, I say go for it. And the glue, you kind of have to wait. Like if you want to do this all at the same time, I would just say tape it. So to save some time today, I'm gonna tape it. My tape's way over there. Got it. And then if you have random pieces poking out, or if the base isn't even, you can trim that afterwards. And the hat is gonna cover the top, so don't worry about any gaps up there. You really don't have to worry about that because we're gonna cover it later. So no big deal. See how that sets. I'm just gonna trim. I just had a little, my cone design wasn't perfect, so I have a little gap down here. I'm just gonna trim that a little to make it more even so it doesn't, when it sits up straight, it's not crooked. Hey, a little wobbly, but that's okay. So next we have, what are we doing next? I think I'll do the hat next, right? Or is the hat last? The hat's last. Okay, I lied. We're going to work on the beard. I gave you guys a bigger piece just in case you mess up or want to restart. So you could probably get 2 different gnomes out of this. And then you just have to be careful because when you're trimming the beard, you don't want to like, see like down here where it's like super short. You don't want to make a really short cut on something that you want longer. So this section up here looks pretty good for the beard part, and you can kind of play around with it, get it how you like it. I've seen some gnomes out there, they make little mustaches, or they braid part of the fur. And if you have an X-Acto knife too, that actually cuts a lot easier than scissors. That's how I cut everyone's section, was with an X-Acto knife. And sorry in advance for all the fur that's gonna be everywhere. Everywhere. Gonna give mine a little trim, but it's not that bad. Okay, I got the bad scissors again today. Why did I do that? It's not even cutting the fur. Okay, so I will trim that later. I'm gonna wrap that around. And this is just the little pieces I'll trim up later. But that looks about right. A little bit more than halfway. And you can put your felt hat on too to kind of measure out where you need it. So yeah, that's about perfect. And then you can cover the back too if you want. No one's really gonna see the back. But we'll glue that down. Glue. This is the one where you can poke it from the top of the cap, the red cap. That's really hard to see, but there's a little pokey in there. So you can just do a light little poke. Oh, that was really easy. And then you can put the other cap on. So I'm just gonna wrap that up. And depending on how you cut your fur, you might have to do it a little bit differently. Looks like I'll need some over on this side. And I would just hold that for a few seconds, make sure you have it down really good. And you can go back later when you're trimming and apply more glue where it's needed. So now we're going to add our little gnome nose. A lot of YouTube videos and craft blogs that I saw just used a wooden bead, and they glued it on, and sometimes you could still see like the hole on the side for the bead. Redo. Okay, so I'm putting the cork in there. Now I can just poke that pin in. Oh, I got it. And the last piece is just gluing the felt around the top. I guess we have the flower too. And I want it just a little bit like slouchy over the nose. You guys get the idea. And then if for some reason this glue just isn't working for you, you can try some tacky glue or something else. Whatever glue you have. I think even a glue stick might work on the cardboard base or cardstock base. And once it dries, it does feel a lot better. So I got the back glued on. I just have this little flap coming out, so I'll cut that off later. But you guys get the idea. Cute little gnome with felt hat, felt flower, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for crafting with us.